All right. I am so excited, so honored to have Rayna Russell here on the Move Happy Movement podcast. Thanks so much for taking the time today.
Thank you, Erin, for having me.
I'm super stoked. For those that don't know who you are, I love to always share how I connect with people. And we connected through this Money Bootcamp course on Facebook. And I found out that you were freaking in Netflix #1 show and getting flown from the UK out in London, right?
Yes.
Straight out to LA. And I was just like, I have to have you on the show. Like, that's so cool. So dope.
Thank you.
And not only are you an actress, but you also direct and you've got your own business and whatnot. So why don't you share maybe your origin story, like where you started from, what you're doing now, and what you're excited about in the future.
Okay, so my stage name is Rayna Campbell, and I went to university actually to study business and marketing.
Oh, wow.
And a friend, when I was halfway through my degree, asked me if I wanted to see this show called Fame. So I went with him to the theater. And I was like, oh my God, why am I doing business and marketing? That looks like they're having so much fun.
Wow.
And that sort of like triggered me to start on my acting journey. So I did these weekend drama classes and the teacher was like, you're really good, you know, you should apply for drama schools. So I sort of like applied to American drama schools and everyone was like, that's really weird. Like we have really good drama schools in Britain. But at that time, there weren't many Black actors at all on the screens here. And all the people that I love, like Whoopi Goldberg and Eddie Murphy, they were Americans. So I was like, it makes sense. I'll just go to America. Yeah. So I actually attended the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York, so Madison Avenue. And I got a scholarship. I won a scholarship from the New York Times and a couple of British actors here. And I had so much fun there. It was brilliant. And when I graduated, I decided to return back to the UK. And then I just got into, sort of started really small, and it was sort of like a slow journey, doing fringe theatre and then television and then writing. I got into writing screenplays and films because it was so slow, and I was thinking maybe I could just write something for myself and do that. So I sort of did that simultaneously, and then fell into directing as well. And then I also, as you mentioned, have a business where I coach artists in mindset. And that came about because I had a period of 6 years where nothing was happening. I was getting auditions, but I wasn't booking any work. And I was frustrated, and I was thinking, how will this play out? Like my future, I'm really scared. I can't be like this, not earning money, not making any progress.
Yeah.
And so I worked with a lady who did mindset transformation and energy healing. And I realized like I had all these limiting beliefs. Like I thought, because I'm so dark, like I'll never ever get to play the lead role because I don't see that happening. Yeah. So she would say, well, why not? Why couldn't it happen? So as I worked with her over 8 months, my career literally flipped 180 and I never stopped working. And then I just always did the work. And then I would hear myself telling my friends, like, just think this is why that's not happening. And then in the end, I was like, I want to help other artists because I really enjoy this. And I had one business, but it was nothing to do with my art. And I thought, I love business, but I want to do something that will benefit me at the same time, because I need to keep telling myself these principles over and over. So it's almost like my clients are like my accountability partners. I'm like, okay, we're going to do the work, and I have to do the work, obviously.
Yeah, accountability.
Yeah.
How perfect. Love it. That's so cool. And so, I mean, you just have this like fire within you where it sounds like you're willing to go out and do anything, and you're not afraid to try something that you've never done before. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. So one of the, and you touched on it already, one of the first pillars of Move Happy is all about keeping a positive mindset. And I can imagine 6 years where you're not booking anything. I mean, you had to have learned some things on how to keep your game right, keep your head in the game, keep a positive mindset, despite, not being in control of whether or not people would say yes to you being, part of a show or whatnot. What are some tips that you've learned along your journey that you'd like to share with maybe other aspiring actors or future directors?
Yeah, during that 6 year period, it was very tough
Mm-hmm.
because I was telling myself all these things that weren't making me feel good, like it's because of how I look, or I haven't got the right agent, or maybe I didn't go to the right drama school.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sort of my own worst enemy in that respect. And then you sort of attract people who are going, yeah, my agent's also terrible, and yeah, maybe it's good. So that wasn't any good. But in the end, I started like just reading positive books on positive thinking and law of attraction, and that always gave me hope. Like I was like, oh, I love what this book's saying, and I drowned myself in all this reading material. But I always say to artists, you'll always find someone to agree with you, whatever your opinion is. So make sure that you surround yourself with people who want the same as you and believe that they can have it, or people who are doing what you want to be doing.
Yeah.
Because they'll just keep you from going back into why it's not working out, and which you can find evidence for if you go looking for that. And just being true to yourself, like following flow. Like, so some of my artists this week were saying, I'm trying to write scripts and I'm trying to do this. And I'm like, do you really want to do that? And they were like, no. And I said, like, why are you doing that? And it's sort of like this pressure, well, everyone's doing it and that's the thing to do. And I don't know what else to do because nothing's happening. And I'm always like, just find your truth and what do you really want to do? And if you only want to act, it's just like, just immerse yourself in that. And if there's no opportunities to act, like brush up on all those acting books that you didn't get to read. Like there are so many, and how can you improve your skills? And can you jump on a course to brush up on accents or self-taping? There's so much we can do to just keep ourselves buoyant. But your mindset, it's so important to keep yourself surrounded by people who have a positive mindset and who will champion you.
Yes.
And when you feel like giving up, going, no, get up and keep going.
I love that. And you're so right. I mean, that accountability, like there's so much power in numbers. Even if it's just one other person that you're speaking to, you're speaking your truth and what you want. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, I told her that. I can't like back out on it now. I've already I've let the goose out.
It's so true.
Love it.
That's literally like why I did it. And yeah.
I love it. That's excellent. In second pillar, you really touched on it already with talking about, surrounding yourself with others. But the second pillar of Move Happy is about building strong communities and how that can really be a positive impact on our happiness level, really. If we're surrounding ourselves with a bunch of negative Nellies, that can, of course, do the opposite of what our goal is. What have you learned along your journey? Because I'm sure that there are some people in the industry that you probably wouldn't want to spend all your time with, energy drainers. What have you learned as far as like building connections, building community within the acting community or within business and whatnot that you'd like to share?
Yeah, two things really. The first is about following my personal flow. So there are days when I feel very proactive and I can get lots of work done. And then there are other days where I feel like I don't feel like that today, or I'm feeling not so hopeful today or quite negative. And rather than forcing myself to be proactive, I just ask my body, what do you need to do to feel better? And it might say, I'm really tired, can we sleep? Or can we eat that chocolate cake? or can we just stay in bed and watch Netflix? And then I just honor that. And then I move through those feelings. And then I feel after a day or a few days or a week full again, like ready to go. And then I can be around people and give. And so that's important. And then in terms of community, it took me ages to find my tribe because I'm very assertive and I'm full of ideas and I like to work very quickly. And a lot of people that I met were just like so ambitious, or really, I don't know if that will happen, or people have tried that and it didn't work, or yeah, I'll get back to you tomorrow. And I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so frustrated. Am I too ambitious? Like, what's going on? And then when I did find my tribe, I was so happy. And a friend of mine was saying, I have the same problem. I can't find anyone in my community of actors that is on the same level of me as me. And I said, well, thank God for Skype and FaceTime, because they don't necessarily have to physically be where you are, but there are communities online, or maybe you met someone but they live in America or they live in the UK that you really vibe with, just connecting with them. So that would be my advice.
I love that. Yeah. And that's so true, especially now with like the whole virus thing going on in the world. Like we're all, I mean, there's some areas that are starting to open up, but for the most part, like we're kind of stuck indoors. So it's really important to, you know, stay connected and be proactive online if we've got that internet access. So thank you for that.
That's I've been having virtual coffee dates with my girlfriends, and I'm like, we have to dress up and do makeup just like if we were going into central London. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, otherwise what's the point? And then and it's fun actually, because some of them have been feeling down, so I'm like, we have to just make the effort, because it's so easy to just stay in a ball in bed and just be like, oh, what's the point? There's nothing to do anyway. But I'm like, that's the day and time that we're meeting with your coffee and your little dress on and your makeup, and then and then I'm like, and one of us has to call the other one. So that's been nice. Things like that.
We love it. Excellent. And our third pillar of Move Happy is movement related. It started with a program I created for patients in a psychiatric hospital. So very low budget. We had like $100 US dollars to split between 15 staff. So it was like, you couldn't even buy like a dumbbell. But I knew the importance of movement to help with my mood, to help with my patient's mood. And with that in mind, it's very important. You know, we all know it's important to exercise and whatnot. Being as busy as you are, what are some things that you found you enjoy doing to move your body that maybe don't cost a lot?
I love walking, and if I can, I'll just walk everywhere. So funny, because when I'm in LA, my friends are like, nobody walks here. What are you doing? And I'm like, why don't they walk? Everyone's crazy. But I'm always in sneakers, I think guys say. And I walk. And as I'm walking, it gives me an opportunity to clear my head.
Yes.
Especially if I'm in nature. And I also do my mindset work when I'm walking. And a very powerful thing that I found is I do like mantras, always beginning with I am, and I do it as I'm walking, and it's like the sound of me repeating, like, let's say, I'm a movie star, I am a movie star, I am a movie star. I sort of like march it out, and it's going round and round. And I find when I stop walking, it's almost, the mantra, it still feels like it's going round in my body and my cells. And I've manifested a lot of cool stuff that way. But walking is very good for your mental health as well as your physical health as well. And it's, you know, not taxing. And even if you're feeling lazy, you can go, oh, I'll just walk to the shop. It's like a really cool thing to do. So yeah,
I love that. I love that, incorporating the mantras too. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. You know, I know you're you're doing a lot of things right now. What are you really excited about that we at Move Happy, our listeners, can support you with or connect with you?
So really, as I was saying in that group that we're in, I actually was working so much and was being bombarded with all these projects, and there wasn't an opportunity for me to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when 2020 was starting, I was like, wow, I don't know how I'm going to be in 3 continents all at the same time, but I'm just going to go with the flow. So when lockdown happened, I was like, thank God, secretly. And I said, I'm just going to focus on really connecting with my audience of artists,
Mm-hmm.
and just being of service for
Mm-hmm.
them.
Mm-hmm.
And just really, because of the circumstances that are going on, just helping them with their mental health and
Uh-huh.
just their outlook, because there's so much uncertainty and it's frightening for a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
So just helping them with like gentle techniques,
Uh-huh.
with that really. And I haven't really given any thought to any of my artistic projects. I think my brain is like, thank God for lockdown. Like, we don't have to sort of compact everything. So yeah, I'm on an ad break.
Okay. All right. Well, when you're ready to open things back up, or if you're ready to take on clients, what's the best way you'd like people to connect with you?
So I have a newsletter that I write to the artists every Monday, and they can sign up for that at flowcoachingforartists.com. And I just write every Monday with tips and tricks and details of upcoming courses and workshops.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So everyone needs to sign up for that, stay connected to you. And then I always love to close it out with a silly question, totally random, just so that our audience could get to know you a little bit better. Okay, so I'm totally just like randomly thinking this. So when the lockdown is done and it's all safe to travel and move about, what's some place you haven't been to that you would love to visit?
Oh, Erin. I would love to go to Mexico, actually. I've never been to Mexico. Okay. And just as I'm saying it, I can see tacos and margaritas in my head. I'd love to visit Mexico and just explore that country.
Love it.
See what it was like and be on the beach and see the cities.
Yeah, love it. My personal recommendation, south of LA, if you go a little bit past Tijuana, it's a city called Ensenada. And they have this shopping area. It's called the La Bufadora. It means the blowhole, because at the end of the shops is this big area where the water connects with all the rocks, and it shoots the water up like it's blowing up into the air. It's very, very fun. Of course, you do your negotiating of bartering of items and buy a purse or get your hair braided, for $5 or $10 US dollars. I'm not sure how much that would be in pounds, but yeah, it's super fun. You can get tacos with cactus in it. Yeah, very fun.
Oh my gosh, I honestly, I'm dying to go. Like, I really can't wait to go to Mexico.
Excellent. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you again for taking the time to be on this show. I'd love to have you back on the show in the future for a follow-up, see how you're doing.
Yeah, thank you, Erin, for having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.